did California get so much homelessness?
I mean, because of our own policies and neglect. We put up our feet and we rested on our laurels.
Charles's entire biography, it reflects the fact that Americans are so many things all at once. I think that's what he really talks about. He's a gun owner. He's a hunter. He wants more gun control.
We just try to do the best we can to save them. And if the place happens to belong to a childless cat lady,
so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad strides we hailed at the
way that you heard earlier tonight. The United States Supreme Court majority wrote the following, quote, "Women are not without electoral or political power." No kidding.
I said anything. Nobody tonight said a damn thing. They want you to vote for a ticket based on absolutely no concrete idea about what they would do once they get in office. You said he got more progressive when he got elected governor. So you're saying every time he gets another office, he gets more and more progressive. I think that's exactly what would happen. Tonight, you did hear people say, well, we may not agree with them on everything, but at least it'll be joyful as they tax us into oblivion. I think the idea that you could run an entire presidential campaign based on the idea of vote for me to find out what's in it.
Wait a minute,
ought
Scott,
to terrify
Scott,
every American.
Scott,
By the way, I got a message for the Republicans and the justices of the United States Supreme Court to pry this wedding band from my cold, dead, gay hand.
California, how do you cast your vote?
Mr. Secretary, the great state of California passes at this time.
California passes.
Not emphasized enough is the Vice President's very poor record on national security. Every budget that she and President Biden have submitted to Congress, every single one cuts defense. If you care about national security and national defense, you can't support the Vice President.
Hey, Steve Cortez here on the west side of Chicago, Democratic National Convention at United Center. The Democrats, of course, want open borders and want an endless stream of illegal migrants pouring into the United States. This is my new acquaintance, Edwin. Say hello.
My name is Edwin. Nice to meet you.
All right, Edwin is from Venezuela. And we're going to take Edwin into the DNC so that he can meet the Democrats who want open borders. He should meet his new friends, hear the speakers, and learn about the Democratic Party. So, Edwin, let's head in, shall we?
Excelente.
Right. This is Edwin from Venezuela, migrant, invited in by the Democrat Party. He'd like to come into the Democratic Convention.
You have to get your credentials. Yep, you have to go to Jackson.
Yep. Wait, you mean he needs credentials and permission to come in?
Yes.
To get past the wall?
Yeah.
So it's like a border wall in a way, huh?
Yeah. You have to have ID, credentials.
You can come in.
To come to the United States?
No.
Not to come to the United States. Okay, but to come to the Democratic Convention.
Here,
Okay. You believe in security. You believe in securing a boundary. Edwin can't come in.
Without credentials.
That's all I know.
I commend you on guarding this border.
And what you're going to do is end up with scarcity. We're going to end up with food lines, bread lines, that kind of stuff that we saw in communist Russia and the USSR and other communist nations. And so it's very, very dangerous. I put something out on Twitter. I think it was Senator Mike Lee. I shared an incredible Twitter thread that he put out laying this all out. It gives you an education on the problems with price controls. It will be it will truly cause scarcity and food lines, and it will be the beginning of pushing us into a place that we cannot afford to go.
Opportunity for Republicans to educate the American people about the importance of free markets?
It sure is. I wish, frankly, our education system was doing a better job, because if they were, everybody would be shocked at her saying that. But unfortunately, we haven't educated our children, properly enough on the dangers and harm of communism. And that's really what we're headed toward with this. I believe that Kamala is a communist. I believe she has communist tendencies, and Ruben Gallego as well. They want us going down the road where we're all impoverished, we're all living poor. They want to turn us into a third world country, and they want to punish.
And sure, I went to Jeffrey Epstein Island 27 times. It was fun as hell, the time of my life, but then Hillary killed him and I couldn't go anymore. So now I'm stuck with this bitch,
What brought you out here today? No, listen, my name is Noah Shorts. I use he, they pronouns. I'm just really excited that we have, the first black woman that could be the president of the United States. And, my wife, right? We're in a polyamorous relationship. The lover that my wife took is African American. And, I've learned so much about the struggle that people of color go through as a result of my wife's boyfriend. And so I'm excited to really do my part to show solidarity for my marginalized communities. And, the best way to do that is to get the first woman of color to be the commander-in-chief. And I'm really excited. I'm so pumped.
Were you this pumped and excited when Joe Biden was the nominee?
I mean, listen, I would vote for a corpse over voting for Donald Trump, because he's a disgusting fascist, white supremacist pig. But now, we get to really make history. We have, like I said, we have the first woman of color to be president of the United States. And, our country, it was founded on the values of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And in Kamala Harris, there's nothing embodies those values more than a Kamala Harris presidency. So I'm pumped. I'm ready. I am so excited. I'm a proud white dude for Kamala Harris, baby. Let's go. Woo!
Have you seen any excitement at a Democratic event in this stadium? Or?
No, listen. This is amazing. You can't generate.
We don't get to change the rules, so we always win. If we see a mountain in front of us, we don't expect there to be an escalator waiting to take us to the top. No.
Oh, not at all. Not at all. You never change the rules. You never just completely disregard anti-discrimination laws in the name of DEI. Democrats never redistribute wealth and make coal miners pay for doctors' student loans. Democrats never abuse or disregard immigration laws so that they can import 20 new voters and then put those voters on the rolls even though it's illegal for non-citizens to vote. Nah, they wouldn't do that. Democrats would never take all 20 million of those people and classify them as refugees so that they're eligible for welfare so Americans can spend billions of dollars every single month on them. They would never change the statute of limitations on a crime just so they could charge Donald Trump with something that never happened. Democrats never play with the rules or take the escalator to the top of the mountain. Never.
A big theme here at the DNC is that they're going to go after corporate gouging. And they're going to go after corporations, whether it's in taxes, largesse, loopholes. The RNC, we heard the same thing. They're going after the elites, the two sets of rules. Let me reveal a reality to you that has to be spoken to here, okay? These are the soldiers. These are the men and the women that go back to their constituencies and their communities, and they fight. They take time from their jobs. They take time from their families. Republicans and Democrats alike, that's what they do. They need to charge these people up. They need to be able to get them on board. But there's another reality that is literally looking down on them. Greg, look at the ring of sweets, okay? This is not unique to Democrats. There is a game of money. When people talk about uniparty, we are strangled by the money reality in our politics. Those suites start at 500 grand. You think there's like a teacher group up in there? You think it's like the Cub Scouts? of Columbia County, South Carolina, that's up in those boxes? Some of them are lobbies and good things. The media boxes, you think they're free? Why do you think I'm on the floor? News Nation is not a broke company. Nexstar is a massive organization. We are corporate media. We don't have one of those boxes because that's the game. You pay to play. Those boxes are filled with the same people that they say they're going to regulate. They are literally looking down on the faithful and being told, yeah, we're going to break down on them. We're going to make them pay their share. They paid $500,000, $700,000, $1 million, $1.5 million to have those seats. They get hotel suites that are probably gifted to the party. And the same thing is true at the Republican side. And they're going to take them down. They're going to change how it is. They are looking down from on high at the people who make the difference in their communities. And that is the reality of politics. And I had my producer walk around and show you those suites. Now, they're not all the same. They're not all the same. But the reality is, in 2000, they spent $300 million on presidential campaigns. 24 years later, you know what they're expected to spend? $10 billion. Do you know how much money Harris has raised in the last couple of weeks? Hundreds of millions. And that's success. A lot of it's small donor, a lot of it isn't. The most dangerous money in politics is now legal money because of Citizens United. You've got to know this. The idea that they can fight against it is almost laughable. It's almost laughable. So look and listen when you are told these things. Because I don't care what they promise you. Not here tonight, not at the RNC, not that Trump knows them, not that they don't own them. He did one of the biggest fundraisers I've ever heard of in my life out where I live. Millions of dollars a plate. That's the reality of politics.
Let's create a path, guys. Thanks for looking out each other. Look out for each other, but let's create a path for men. Let's create a path, guys. Thanks for looking out each other. Look out for each other, but let's create a path for men.
Start at $500,000. You think there's like a teacher group up in there? You think it's like the Cub Scouts of Columbia County?
As the saying goes, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. So Gen Z, let's
pay to play. Those boxes are filled with the same people that they say they're going to regulate. They are literally looking down on the faithful.
You know who was in charge of the root causes of migration and working on that diplomatic effort? The woman who would be standing on this stage tonight. There is just, you don't...
What brought you out here today? My name is Noah Schwartz. I use he, they pronouns like my wife, right? We're in a polyamorous relationship. The lover that my wife took is African-American. And I've learned so much about the struggle that people of color go through.
We're going to make them pay their share. They paid $500,000, $700,000, $1 million, $1.5 million to have those seats.
To a childless cat lady.
And then he did something that's really hard for a politician to do. He voluntarily gave up political power.
They're going to change how it is. They are looking down from on high at the people who make the difference in their communities. And that is the reality of politics.
I never thought I'd stand before a crowd of Democrats and refer to a president as a liar so many times. No, I'm not trying to be funny. It's sad. Trump continues to lie about the border. The result of the executive action I took, border encounters have dropped over 50%. In fact, there are fewer border crossings today than when Donald Trump left office. And unlike Trump, we will not demonize immigrants. Donald Trump and our Republican friends, they not only can't think, they can't read very well. Women are not without electoral or political power. I'm proud to have kept my commitment to appoint the first black woman in the United States Supreme Court. And will soon serve as the 47th President of the United States.
Who are these sick people? To a childless cat lady.
whether you are Asian or Hispanic, whether you are straight or whether you are gay. I will work for all of you. They are me, and they are you. And their contributions are no less important than any other group in this fine nation of ours. So,
the Obamas can fool a lot of people, but they can't fool me. Yes, it was a persuasive speech. Yes, it was very powerful. Of course, it was well crafted. But in order to buy what they're selling, you have to be completely oblivious to political reality. My grandmother, Judge Janine, used to tell me, beware of those who use their virtue as a cudgel. And this is what the Obamas do. They say decency, dignity, charity, generosity. They have a monopoly on that. And if you would disagree with them, then you're just an evil ghoul. I always say, don't listen to what people say, watch what they do. They've lost 300,000 kids. They've poured migrants into black neighborhoods. They've ruined women's sports. They've made life more dangerous and expensive for Americans. Those aren't virtuous actions. That's incredibly dishonorable. Then the Obamas say the Republicans aren't generous. Have you ever seen Sean Hannity tip? They say Republicans don't sacrifice. Let's take a poll of the Army. Let's see who they're voting for. They say Republicans avoid taxes while Hunter Biden's on trial for tax evasion. And then they go and say, oh, you know, Republicans want to poison rivers and fire people. But this country's too polarized. We need to come together. What? Come on, guys. Hope is not a plan. And we still have never heard a plan.
Know how Mexico enforces their border? Diplomacy. Do you know who is in charge of the root causes of migration and working on that diplomatic effort? The woman who will be standing on this stage tonight. There is just, you don't...
Vice President Harris was not a border czar.
Immigration was not true. She was never appointed border czar.
People are going to have to counter the misinformation. You already hear folks talking about the border czar. She wasn't the border czar.
She wasn't the border czar. That's what Republicans labeled her.
Folks lying about her border record, calling her a border czar.
Biden team didn't declare her the border czar.
Calling her sort of the border czar, which wasn't necessarily the case.
Harris wasn't the border czar.
Why
Here's
Republicans
what she did.
keep calling Harris the border czar? Harris is not the border czar.
Harris
was never the border czar. But here's what her record.
Do you know who is in charge of the root causes of migration and working on that diplomatic effort?
I've asked her, the VP, today because she's the most qualified person to do it.
The woman who will be standing on this stage tonight. There is just, you don't...
Listen, the economy had a terrible jobs report today, right? The downward estimate of close to 1 million jobs that weren't created during the past year in the Biden-Harris administration. Gina Raimondo, when asked about it today, she wasn't familiar with it. She's the Secretary of Commerce, right? Unemployment's at 4.3%, the highest it's been since 2021. 11% credit card defaults, the highest it's been in, I think, since 2009. So the economy isn't great, and people feel that in their pocketbooks at home. And we're going to leave here with this great sugar high and this hope, and then people are going to have to pay their bills, and so it's going to be tough.
Democrats welcome weird, but we're not weirdos. Democrats welcome weird, but we're not weirdos. Democrats welcome.
You hear that? Do you potentially think that this new numbers could be a liability for this campaign?
No. When I hear that, first of all, I don't believe it because I've never heard Donald Trump say anything truthful.
It is, though, from the Bureau of Labor.
I'm not familiar with that.
I'm not a peaceful protester. I'm not. What's peaceful mean to you?
I love my nation. Non-violent.
Then I'm not there.
But I'm out here every weekend.
If you come at me threatened,
where are you at?
I'm a legal carrier.
Where
If you come at me threatened, you're going to find out. I'm letting you know. Step back.
Anyways,
I'm letting you know to step back. I'm letting you know. I work on the streets on a daily here. Helping young and black men. Helping young and black men in this city.
Where are you at? Where are you at?
In the Austin neighborhood, helping on a daily basis. In Brownsville, Kenwood. Downtown, exactly. Go in the hood. Go in the hood.
And my friends, at the very top of that to-do list is the need to get big money out of our political process. billionaires in both parties should not be able to buy elections, including primary elections.
Get the hell out of here. What are you doing? Climate con man! 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 Climate comment! Climate comment! Comments up tonight! Comments up tonight, my friend! Climate comment! Comments up tonight! Climate comment! It's time to wake up! It's time to wake up and face the music, my friend!
I just got off the stage after giving my speech at Cato. Got interrupted by those protesters halfway through my talk. Tried to find them afterwards to see if they wanted to talk about it. Love to have an open conversation, but I couldn't find them. Talk to you next time. That's the truth.
Democrats don't want Biden anywhere near this convention. He's toxic. And they don't want him standing on stage with Kamala. That's not going to help her at all. And Biden doesn't even want to be here. He's humiliated. And they're isolating him like he has the Rona. Trump was shot in the head 48 hours before the RNC, and he showed up every day with a bandage on his ear. Biden was stabbed in the back, forced to speak on Monday night as far away from Kamala as possible. And now he's evacuating quicker than Afghanistan. Biden hates Barack. Michelle hates Biden. Biden hates Pelosi. And the Clintons hate them all. It's so fake. They're going to shower Biden with love before they tell him to hit the showers.
Tonight will be a night that we can really celebrate Joe Biden. And Joe Biden is the guy that we need to celebrate. There's going to be a lot of love in this arena behind me for Joe Biden.
It's deep gratitude that we're all going to show because under Joe Biden's leadership, our children will feed their families with jobs he created. They'll drive on roads that he built.
We are going to blow the roof off of the United Center in terms of the praise for Joe Biden. You all know this. I love Joe Biden.
They don't love Biden. They love that he left. And don't buy the joy around Kamala either. They could have replaced Biden with anybody, and the Democrats would have celebrated. Party's not about new ideas and listening to voters. This party's about power. How to grab it, how to cling to it.
My parents wanted us to Dougie. Can you do like this? Do like this? You got to do a dance like this. It's called the Dougie. The Dougie. Yes. The Dougie. Yeah. All right, thank you.
Message to MAGA. Go force yourself, all right? Get out of here. As you remember, I was instrumental in turning my father from the dark side. My new mission is to turn people away from the orange side.